I think we all agree to the fact that there is something wrong with our education system. Even I feel the same, but I really don't know what exactly is wrong with it. I was trying to explore this question from quite a long time. In the process of exploring this question, I got to know about KB Jinan and then I watched his videos on YouTube. They completely blew my mind. I got to know very interesting insights about learning, cognition, impact of modern education on all of this. When I have this thought of starting a podcast, the first person I have in my mind to call upon and talk to is KB Jinan. Today I am very privileged and happy to have him on my show. KB Jinan is a cognitive educationalist who has been exploring biological roots of learning from past 30 years, and he has been very vocal about how modern education damages learning and originality of the child. This has been an eye-opening session for me and I hope it will be for you too. With that said, welcome to Reinvent. Firstly, thank you so much for coming to my show, sir. It really means a lot. I read a quote on your blog, sir. The aim of public education is not to spread enlightenment at all. It is simply to reduce as many individuals as possible to the same safe level, to breed and train a standardized citizenry, to drown dissent and originality. When I read this quote, it really hit me because I could relate this to the times which we are in. And I really wanted to ask because some point of time I'm feeling that there is something wrong with our education, but I really don't know what it is. I thought it would be nice if you could say us, what exactly is wrong with our schooling.
Yeah, you see, this whole schooling system is, based on three fundamental assumptions. And the basic premise that we have taken is that we have to teach children.
Right.
So this is called as teaching paradigm. And in teaching paradigm, you have what you call that codified knowledge, ready-made knowledge, and then there is something called a school to give, this impart this, distribute this knowledge. That distribution system, what schools have.
Right.
So what I understood is that when I looked at children in non-literate communities, I found that learning is the most natural process of all living beings. Learning is not a choice. It is like breathing. It is a choiceless thing that all living beings are doing in order to sustain life.
Right.
So the whole educational paradigm goes against the very nature of life by killing our possibility for creating life-sustaining knowledge. Because today we are on a totally unsustainable system because the whole education has turned us against life. And so that is the basic, So it's actually very common sense. You look around, why is that, every plant, every tree is generating so much of pollen grains.
Right.
So there is an urge in life to sustain life. So I think, knowledge is not for becoming somebody's slave, somebody's knocker, somebody's an employee. No, that's all. Those are all secondary things. Primary thing is to root ourselves into the flow of life, to become part of that.
Yeah. So I mean, generally, what they say is that if you read books, you're knowledgeable and you're great, right? So does reading books is not knowledge? I mean, that is how this modern world, conditioned all of us who are part of this system. Does reading books, because that's what we do. We go to schools or we go to colleges. We just read books.
Yeah. So let us look at what books do to you.
Right.
You see, I think we must first of all understand what is learning.
Right.
You see, when I ask people a question one of the things that we must, from the cognitive sciences, what has been found is that our brain are extremely flexible and
Right.
it is formed by what it engages with. So suppose you are born in China, you will learn Chinese and the Chinese ways of thinking.
Right.
If you are born in an area like in Bangalore slums, you will learn 4 languages by the time they reach 4 years. So the possibility of a brain is extremely flexible, but it depends on what is the context that is available outside.
Right.
So when we talk about learning is actually when we talk about learning actually means we are being formed by what we learn. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So I ask one simple question to people normally. Let me ask you this: who taught you cycling or who taught you swimming?
Yeah, I learned cycling by myself.
So this is a typical answer that everybody gives. So what I say is that cycling is actually taught by the cycle, because the whatever quality that you need to do a cycle is in the cycle. You don't have it. When you want to learn swimming, you acquire all the qualities which is in the water. You don't have that. So what you do in learning is that you acquire qualities that exist in what you learn and then you deal with it. So balance actually is something that the cycle has because of the structure, which you acquire from the cycle, and then you learn to cycle. Am I right? Is that clear? So,
Yes,
so,
sir.
so
Yes, sir.
let's look at what do books do to you when you begin to read any book,
Right.
doesn't matter which book you read. What books do to you is to rewire your cognitive system completely. First of all, it changes the way your eye behaves. Your eye is fundamentally a physiological tool to see, to observe, to sense. That is the eye. But what, and it doesn't need mediation. When you see something, you see it. When you see a tree, you see the tree. But when you read the tree doesn't exist in your, you have to then imagine and think about it. And usually what happens when people are trapped into language is that they become, what they have is language in their head. When you say tree, the tree image
Right.
doesn't happen. What is in your head is TREE. It's the word that is occupying your mind, not the real thing. So what reading does is that reading totally rewires your cognitive system completely. It makes you into thinkers because it is reading that demands thinking and a strange imagination. Because to read, actually, it's very interesting that in McLuhan, Marshall McLuhan, in one of his talks, says that reading actually means rapid guessing. The root meaning of the word reading comes from rapid guessing, which means you're continuously guessing. Actually, that's what reading is making you to do. Whereas seeing is there is no guessing. You're seeing what it is there. So seeing,
Right.
sensing is about direct knowing, and what reading does is to actually take you away from the real world, and then you imagine all kinds of stories in your head. So what then reading does, whether you read whichever book you read, is going to rewire your cognitive system, and then you are going to make up stories in your head. This is what reading does, because you don't have an experiential basis even to understand what we are talking about. So let me ask you one more thing. Where do you live?
Yeah, Pune,
Okay,
Andhra
okay. Have you
Pradesh.
gone to Delhi? Have you gone to
Yes.
Kerala,
Yes.
Kanyakumari, Chennai?
No.
Or when you think of traveling to Chennai south, what happens in the mind of an educated Indian is that they are going up or they are going down. Am I right? Is that the image that is happening in
Yes.
your head? So now you can see
Yeah.
that how the mind has rewired this is happening at a very subconscious level. Now when I'm telling you, you are able to understand this. You are able to bring it out. But for all the educated people, this is how it happens. Now I'm talking about in Indian context, that when you're thinking of traveling to Delhi, you feel you're going up, or when you're thinking of going to Kerala or south, you think you're going down. Why is this happening in the head of an educated person? You see, so this is what I'm talking about, how
Right.
the mind has been completely creating its own story by reading. But reading can be of help to people who have had very, very authentic experiential grounding. So you have to
Right.
understand that language is actually it's a tool. It's not your master. Now what is happening is that it is what dictating the way that you should see the world. This is what language is doing to you. Is that clear?
Right. Yes, sir. So then what actually is learning, sir? If schools are not able to make the
No,
student learn, so what
see,
actually is
learning is
learning?
something that every living being is doing. Please understand this. That how does, see, one day
Right.
I was noticing some very interesting thing. A creeper was trying to, it was on a staircase. So from one railing to the other railing, I saw one creeper was trying to cross over. And after 3-4 days, I had, this is not all the time used a staircase. So 4-5 days later, when I went up, I saw that actually 4-5 creepers have come together, curled around each other, and it has made itself rigid, and it has crossed over to the other side of the railing. Isn't that learning? See, every
Yes.
living being is learning. Every living being is taking intelligent decisions, and the purpose of that is to sustain and maintain life. Everywhere you will find this intelligence at work, and but that means that you have to learn your context. You have to understand your context. So this is actually what learning is.
Right.
You see, how did you learn your mother tongue? Isn't that learning? Without any effort, you have understood it. So learning basically is becoming, it's natural to us. And of course, by an extra effort, you can learn more, definitely. But you have to understand how nature works. We have to understand how the principle of learning that happens in the Bangalore slums when children learn 4 languages without any effort. So definitely we can decode that system and replicate it. Suppose you want to teach somebody other language. Understand how the brain works, how the system works. You see, now look at the way that most of us who have learned English speaking, most of us have not learned English, not to speak English properly. So what is the, I mean, I'm talking about people, many of them who have studied in English medium, see,
Right.
the only very few people are able to speak English properly who has English background right at their home, and who has had, see,
Yeah.
even simple example is that if a child is, because I have heard of a child who has learned German and Spanish, an Indian child, Kerala child, just by looking at videos in the YouTube, and he was not making, even parents didn't know. He used to hear some strange thing every time, and then one day they found that there was some German had come, and they found that this boy is able to speak. So I'm telling that, there are fantastic ways. We must understand our true nature is to learn. We are born learners. But so don't destroy our ability to learn by putting, by organizing things that are anti-learning. This whole schooling system is anti-learning. See, one of the most important things that destroys us is, there are two things. One, teaching. The very act of teaching destroys learning. And
Right.
actually, school and teachers are against learning. You see, none of them is. I'm not telling that everybody is doing it purposely. The way we have organized our life is against true learning. We understand nobody is doing it
Right.
purposely. There are no villains. The way we have created our content is what is doing this to us. So we have to understand. So the basic thing that we have to explore is ourselves. Deeply understand what is happening to you, why that is happening to you. So this is actually an invitation to go inside you to understand how this is happening to you. Don't look at who is doing it. Nobody is doing it purposely. Because when parents are sending
Right.
children to school, they are doing it with good intention. When teachers are involved in teaching, they are doing it with good intentions. But these intentions are not enough at all, because they don't know how the whole principle of learning takes place. So we have to say, to hell with good intentions,
Right.
because that is not what is important. We need to really understand this whole how nature learns, principles involved in learning in the natural realm.
I mean, I'm just curious to know, because how can someone sense learning, or how can someone sense
No.
education?
You see,
You
educate.
know?
See, the thing is this: that one very important thing that we must understand, that understanding can only takes place in the realm of experience. Everything else is a myth. It's imagination. You see, now I'll tell you one important thing. One day, the same thing in relation to how people think Delhi is going up and Kanyakumari is going down. I was in Delhi in a friend's place, and there was a Bangladeshi lady, an illiterate lady who was there, to whom they had told that I have come from down south. So when I went to the kitchen, she was looking at me in surprise that how did this guy come up from the ground? You see the difference? So you see, it's only in the educated mind this kind of absurd idea can happen. You can come from down. So we are not even aware that you understand? Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
you see, I tell you one thing. What education is doing is, they are turning us into another kind of superstitious people. We are shifted from religious superstition to scientific superstition. This is all what we have done. This, I am not telling that there is no knowledge worthy of learning, but we don't know how to learn. The simple thing. If that, most of us understanding of Newton is nothing but superstition. We are making up our story in our head. You see, another one very
Right.
dangerous thing that the modern educated people have not understood is that reasoning is not a cognitive tool. Reasoning, what you do with reasoning, when somebody is giving you information and you are organizing that information and putting in your head, this is all what you're doing. So reasoning is nothing but a storing tool in an organized manner for easy recollection. This is not very different from rote memorization. Rote memorization also you use for storing information. So there are two ways of storing information. Either you can rote memorize it, or you can just store it through organizing, which means by reasoning. So reasoning makes you think that you have understood that. But what have you done? You've only stored somebody else's information in the realm of language. This is what you've done. So basically what I say is that reasoning short circuits comprehension. It gives you an illusion that you have understood it, but you're just making a story around it. This is all what you're doing. So we have to understand that what really is the process of learning. To really understand the whole aspect of knowledge production. Knowledge production is not reading somebody's thing and thinking that you are understood, and then you create more and more permutation combinations. What is happening today is that some fellows are doing PhD by reading 10,000 books. Then you keep on referring to more books, and produce more nonsense. The whole modern educated people have completely failed to understand. One is children, and other one is how children produce knowledge. Since
Right.
they have not understood this, years, they have completely created an educational paradigm which is against the child and against the nature of learning. This is what they have done. And how they are doing it. And there are more and more PhDs coming out on educational, on education. But have one of them questioned how children learn? All the research that is happening in the Western world is how to teach children. How to teach children, what is pedagogy, how to encourage them. It's so terrible to see how, whenever a child does something, you say, very good, very good, very good. It's absolutely horrible because children are not doing anything forced to get this kind of nonsense. They're self-contained. They're self-contented in doing what they want to do. See, everything in life is like that. It is not for somebody's appreciation life is living. This is a complete misunderstanding by the modern minds that, if you don't encourage, people don't do anything. Don't require it if, in a paradigm of in which I'm talking about.
Right.
So we have already created a completely wrong paradigm, and now we are trying to do all kinds of tricks to see whether it can be done right. It cannot be done right. It cannot be repaired. You have to completely throw this out and rethink about this whole paradigm of, how learning takes place, how knowledge is created. And knowledge creation is the most important thing, which is completely forgotten by the modern educational paradigm.
Right. When you talk about modern education paradigm these days, people are moving towards different methods to repair what they have done to education. But what is interesting is that in every new method they suggest as an alternative, teaching stays the same, right?
Absolutely.
Because if teaching never goes as you said, how will learning start?
Absolutely. That's the whole problem.
I mean, it's very interesting because all these so-called educated people are trying to advance and repair it, but still they're doing the same mistake what they have been doing.
Yeah. And the digital technology will destroy us more further. Especially if you expose children to digital technology in younger age, their brain will be formed by the quality that exists in digitality. So at the first level, you see, it's like this. We should choose whether the world should form us, shape us, or should be the printed word or the digitalized information. This is our choice. And if you want to destroy ourselves, I think we should expose children more and more to digital environment.
Sir, since you said about digital environment, what happens, as you said, learning happens through experience, right? What this digital environment is doing is that they're trying to create a virtual experience so that they're thinking that learning will happen.
No, because they will see. One thing we must understand is that children are absorbing everything in toto. See, for example, what does a child learn from in the classroom? The child learns to be a teacher. That's what the child is learning, not what the teacher is teaching, because that has been forgotten. But the experience that the child is going through is teaching per se. So that physical experience is what the child is absorbing. So what will happen in a digitized environment is that anyway it is a fake environment. So naturally we will produce fakes.
Right.
A real environment is multisensory, and it's an unbelievable kind of environment that we actually have in which is the real world. That they want to replace it by their silly creations, which is absolutely terrible actually.
Right. Now when we talk about school, the only time I was interested to go to school when there was a games period, because I was allowed to do whatever I want.
Yeah. But that now they have taken over now, because now there are play workers for children. Even the free time of play has been taken over. Initially there used to be some art class where you could be free. Now art has been completely destroyed because they have now turned it into proper syllabus, history and all that nonsense. And even play now has been taken over completely by adults. So children have no scope at all actually. At home they have toys, which is more dangerous. See, toy is the most dangerous thing that we have invented, because children don't require toys at all. In the process of exploring the world, children recreate the world, and in that recreation they use objects which we think are play or toys. They're not toys in the sense that modern people understand it. They're not toys.
Right. And coming to that, play is a constructed reality, because if you see also, once a child comes back to the home, a parent says that now you study, after that you play. I always used to wonder that aren't the same, because if you are learning, you shouldn't be conscious that you're learning.
Yeah, absolutely. No, actually learning is a byproduct. Learning is not the aim. There was no aim to learn 4 languages. It just happened,
Right.
So we have not understood these fundamental principles of life, no? That's the whole problem. So what I say is that human beings have become human knowing because we have prioritized something called knowledge. Of course, we have not reached anywhere with that. That's a different matter.
Right.
But, the beingness is lost.
Right. So right now I'm doing my graduation in economics, but the funniest thing is that the thing which I learned, or the skills which which I built over time are just because talking to people or staying in that environment, but not because of classes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I should ask this question because all my friends and including myself struggle to survive those painful hours while they're teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you think these higher education environment should be like? I mean, what is an ideal space?
Well, you see, one has to completely reimagine education. So I don't want to suggest any repair situations, I would rather copy and pass the exams and not waste my mind on memorizing information. I would say copy and pass, or pay some money and get the degree. Don't destroy your brain, in reading nonsense. But if you really want to reimagine education, we have to, see, I have been thinking about this, that if you look at all the way indigenous knowledge, indigenous communities have created knowledge, they are absolutely holistic and life sustaining. So this whole reimagination of education should come from two sources. First, understanding how children learn. Secondly, how knowledge creation happens in indigenous communities. These two things has to be studied, without the framework of modern mind. The problem with modern mind is that it is always reconstructing what it assumes things are. This is the problem. So modernity must first understand how to decode their biased brain, biased understanding, and learn to look afresh without any such biases. So that is going to be very tough, because because you see, the thing with modern educated people is that it is inbuilt into their system to believe that they are educated and they know everything. So naturally they feel they are arrogant, they are very confident, and none of these are actually qualities of a learning person. A learning person is humble, and that learning person can never be arrogant. They have to know how to be tentative, how to be in suspense, how to stay in suspense. None of this quality exists in an educated mind, See, let me ask you two questions. What is the color of sky?
I saw few of your videos, that's why I could answer it rightly.
Yeah. But the answer would be blue. Am I right? Normally.
Yeah, obviously.
The color of leaf is green for most educated people, no?
Right.
Yeah. So the same question was asked in a classroom of small young children, 6th standard, 7th standard young children, and the children were asking back, what time of the day are you talking about? And I have repeated this question in many places, in master's degree programs, in architecture classes, in design, almost everywhere. Even though there is a possibility of looking out to the window, people don't look out at all, and they tell me the color is blue. Some will say it is white, but nobody ever asked back that what time of the day are you talking about? So what education does is to make you very, very confident. They make you absent to the world, because the child is asking what time of the day because they want to be present. That's the difference. See, the difference between modern education and indigenous knowledge system is that indigenous knowledge system continuously makes you present, whereas the modern knowledge system, just the whole idea is to make you absent. You're in the mind all the time. So there are several fundamental differences between these two paradigms. One makes you humble, other makes you arrogant. One is against nature, other is along with nature. So these are very fundamental shifts, cognitive wiring. This is not that I don't mean to say that people who are born in the modern framework are like this.
Yeah, so parenting is really an important aspect for providing that environment for child to learn. How do you think modern parents should rethink parenting?
You see, what I found in the rural tribal areas is that there is no parenting at all. Children grow. So that is the most shift that modern parents have to make, that they have to stop parenting and trust life. Life will take care of children. But of course, we have created modern environment anti-life. So our job basically should be how do we create a conducive environment for children to learn and to grow. You see, today I was thinking that in the modern context, the environment we have provided for children is to see only products. They are everywhere seeing products only. And it starts with knowledge as product, And then another biggest tragedy today is that there are no longer homes actually. There are only schools everywhere. Parents are into teaching, teachers are into teaching, everywhere only teaching is happening. So there is no learning possible even at home. So parents has to completely stop teaching completely and allow life to take over and trust children completely. There is no other way. And they have to stop providing toys. Absolutely. Because that's the most dangerous thing that modern man has understood, created. Children don't need toys at all. So within the context of tradition, what I've found is that in the context of indigenous life, I found is that, there is an environment of trust all the time. And children also live in freedom because they never have to ask permission to a parent to do anything that they want. So they are going out every time, they are, roaming around. And parents have a trust in life, so they don't go after children. So this environment because see, what we need to understand is that freedom is existential. It is not something you and I can give. Every living being is living in the realm of freedom. It is not an anthropocentric idea. It is the very way nature is organized. So freedom must be a given thing at our subconscious level. It should not be made into a conscious idea that I'm a free person, So many of these things are operating within the context of rural tribal communities at a very subconscious level. Trust in life, feeling of abundance. This is very important. You see, in the rural tribal communities, they never feel that they are poor people, even though we keep on telling them they are poor. So poverty is a modern mind's damage. Mistaken idea.
Right.
So there are deep psychological damages that modernity has created itself, by assuming that they are very developed, they are poor. We create a term called underprivileged. All these are to make us believe that we are very privileged, So there is no difference whether we want to look at school or at home. Actually, the structure is almost same everywhere. It is about teaching. It is about distrusting child, so it has to be a total reimagination.
That reminds me a quote saying that we don't get the difference between financial poverty and intellectual poverty, and it is because the modern man has created ego because of the modern education. Thank you so much for coming to my show. It really means a lot. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.